Please.
Welcome everyone to the regular council session on Tuesday, February 20th on 2024. The municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc acknowledges that it is located on Treaty 21 territory. We are thankful to the generations of people who have taken care of this land, including the Chippewas of the Thames First Nation, the Munsee Delaware First Nation, and the United Nation of the Thames. Roll call, Councillor Kenneth is absent and Councillor Brennan holds his proxy this evening. Motion to approve the agenda. Councillor Pelkman, second by Councillor Brennan. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Are there any declaration of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we have, I believe, 3 minutes in front of us, the regular council meeting of February 5th, the Finance Committee of January 30th, and the Finance Committee meeting of February 5th. I think we can vote on all 3. Motion to accept, Councillor Brennan, seconder, Deputy Mayor McGuire. Are there any questions, errors, or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor of accepting the minutes? Opposed, if any? Carried. Communications. There are 5 communications in front of us. Did anyone wish to speak to any communication? Councillor Pammer?
5.3.
5.3. Any others? Seeing none, can we have a motion to receive the others? 5.1, 5.2, 5.4, and 5.5. So I'm going to bring the motion. Councillor Pelkman, second by Councillor Brennan. Any comments? All in favor?
Question on,
Yep, go ahead. Sorry, Greg.
just a question on 5.5. Is there a motion or anything associated with that? Because it's a request for a road closure. Nobody brought it up. If we accept it, is it automatically granted or what happens?
Yep. Yes, good point, Greg. Yep. You okay with that? Okay, thank you. Yep. All in favor of receiving those communications? Opposed, if any? Carried. Councillor Pammer, 5.3.
Yeah, I was interested in this one, as people who know me know this has been a pet peeve of mine for a long time, that we have this wonderful rail system that connects, Sarnia to London and a lot of small municipalities in between, but the train comes through twice a day, a passenger train. And as we talk about protecting our environment and greenhouse emissions, it seems to me that one of the glaring opportunities we have in front of us is a better rail transportation. So this letter is asking from the municipality or the city of Brantford or Brant County for support that the federal government provide via Metrolink with priority right away over freight rail lines, since that seems to be, my understanding, part of the holdup as to why there isn't greater flexibility and more passenger lines. And also direct CN Rail to work positively and cooperatively with municipal and provincial governments in the processing of land development applications, etc. So I would like to propose a motion that we support this letter to the parties named, which is the MPPs, and all the parties named here in the letter, via rail, etc.
Okay, seconder to Councillor Brenner. Any questions or comments? Councillor Pelkman.
Yeah, I guess just my only comment is it's really unfortunate that when the second set of tracks was taken out, that action wasn't taken then, because maybe there would have been an opportunity for CN to sell the other set of tracks to I guess be the federal government. But the only question I have about perhaps the wording of the motion is that CN owns the rails, not VIA. So we just want to be careful about the wording to make sure that when we want to partner with correcting and fixing the crossings, that we haven't upset our partner with our road network. But I do 100% agree that even, thankfully we got a second time, because before it was only once, and it's just not user friendly for the times that come in. yeah, it is an opportunity that's missed.
Any other comments, questions? Councillor Wilsey.
Just a note there, the CC is all Ontario municipalities, so we're gonna send out a copy of our letter to the directors and every municipal as well, just stating that we support this letter. Just wanna make just clarity on that.
I believe that's the intent, correct, Councillor? Okay. Further, all in favor of the motion? Opposed, if any? Carried. Reports from departments, community services, the first one is update to the indoor air quality recommendation chart, report CS 2023. Motion to receive the report first. Councillor Brandon, second by Deputy Mayor McGuire. All in favor? Carried. Director Lilborn, did you want to speak to the report?
Thank you, Your Worship, members of council. The report in front of you is just an update report as requested at an earlier meeting when we presented the indoor air quality report. You can see through the report a number of activities have occurred in the progression of completing a lot of the recommendations. Some of which included the air handling equipment being inspected and tested from a preventative maintenance perspective. And there were no serious or any significant concerns there, as well as inspection and maintenance of the exhaust extraction systems for the fire trucks within the halls. Still waiting on one manufacturer to come out and do that work, but the other manufacturer has been to Station 3 and found no significant issues. There was a sensor that they wanted to replace, so we replaced it. We inspected the oil separators and the floor drains and found that all three of the stations had significant amount of sediment in those oil separators, which could have been a cause for some off-gassing, which is now created a new procedure where we're going to be inspecting those on an annual basis and doing any maintenance that may need to be done, whether it's having Johnson Sanitation or another company come out and remove any of that sediment. And then as well as one of the major recommendations was to look at how we can separate the bunker gear from the apparatus bay floors. So with that, we engaged A+ Link, who we have on retainer to do a lot of our architectural work. And they have come out and visited the halls and came up with some solutions which are identified in this report. Included in those renovations is an upgrade to the exhaust fans, exhaust systems as well, to increase airflow across the apparatus bays. So I am available for any questions should council have any.
Any questions? And no, this is simply a referral to the budget discussions, correct?
Through the chair to the chair, yes. It's just moving that request for funds into the capital budget process.
Okay. Councillor Wilsey.
Just looking at the drawings and where they've been done, are we gonna miss the space because if we look at the Mount Bridges one, we're losing access to one half of the equipment base. And in Melbourne, there's actually a door that's opening into another apparatus bay. So with looking at those and just with my work in factories when I have to do pathways and walkways and make sure there's minimum areas, I'm concerned that those aren't still gonna be maintained with this renovation. So can I get some feedback on that?
Sure. Through the chair to Councillor Wilsey, the designs have all been incorporated according to building code. So there would be, if there's a requirement to maintain walkways, then the walkways would need to be maintained. With regards to taking over a portion of the apparatus bay for Station 2, in conversation with the chief and deputy chief, because when we started doing this work, Chief Smith was still active. He saw no reasons why taking over a portion of the apparatus bay as they don't see an increase in the number of trucks in the near future. So he's thinking like a 5 to 10 year time frame. I know there's been, and he's indicated that there has been discussions about Station 2 and its location. So this renovation at Station 2 is actually going to make the station healthier for the firefighters, but also be able to prolong the use of that station until such time as council chooses to move forward with whatever plan they may choose.
Councillor Wilsey.
So with that statement, if we accept this renovation in our multi-year budget, then you were saying that the new station for Melbourne and Mount British will be pushed out 5 to 10 years and we'll see an update of the capital budget? If that's going to be, we're not going to be requesting that to come up in 2026 anymore?
I'm not, through the chair to Councillor Wolsey, I'm not suggesting anything with regards to the capital budget. The capital, what I said is we have the ability to extend the life of Station 2 out to 5 to 10 years. It's council's wish. If they want to escalate that move, all I'm doing is trying to make a space safe for the firefighters and separate the bunker gear. The other alternative we had with this renovation was to put an addition on to the building, which would have taken over valuable parking space for responding firefighters and would have increased the overall square footage of the building, as well as then the operational costs associated with it. And it would have been a much greater expense than $300,000.
Councillor Derbyshire.
So I guess my question is, we threw you to anybody. We do an air quality test. We find out we do need air purification systems. So we did say go ahead and purchase them, right? Now we're going to try to isolate bunker gear, but if the bunker gear is washed properly, it shouldn't be off-gassing anymore. So as long as we are clearing out the air and changing it over in the room itself, which is the apparatus bay and the bunker gear all together, I don't understand why we're going through the whole process that totals a large number for just to put up some plastic curtains and make the appearance of we're trying to keep this separate. Like, I'm not trying to downplay what's been done here, other than if we're already purifying the air in the whole room, then we've kind of served the purpose of what was meant to be done. The bunker gear is to be washed when dirty or placed in plastic bags, so there shouldn't be off-gassing. The trucks are to be plugged into the gas vent machines that suck the exhaust out. Like, I fail to see why not just clearing the whole air in one room is not going to be significant enough.
Director Loborn.
Through the chair to Councillor Derbyshire, staff were asked to bring back the information from the recommendations of the indoor air quality report. That's all staff is doing. If council chooses not to separate the bunker gear, then council can choose not to separate the bunker gear. If council directs staff to conduct another indoor air quality test to determine if the air quality has improved with that, with the filtration systems and the work done on the oil separators, as well as the exhaust extraction systems, staff can do that if directed by council to do so. So all staff is doing is bringing forward what's been asked of them to bring forward. If council chooses to go in whatever direction, staff will follow that direction.
Any other? Councillor Brennan.
Through the mayor to the director, what would the cost of that second air quality test be approximately?
Through the chair to Councillor Brennan, the original air quality test was $6,500 plus taxes. So I couldn't imagine it'd be much more than $6,500 plus taxes.
Councillor Brennan.
I would make a motion that we direct a second air quality test to be taken, the results brought back to us, and at that time make a decision on this item.
Okay, you have a motion?
That would be my motion.
Okay, seconder. Councillor Wilsey, any questions? Councillor Derbyshire.
I agree with that motion. I think it's a good motion. I would like to make sure, though, that everything that is to be done on the firefighters' end of things are done. So gear's to be placed in proper bags, washed, not hung up. The trucks are to be hooked up to the suckers, like, you know, all that has to be done properly, otherwise these tests are pointless, and, you know, it's no longer council putting them in harm's way, it's themselves.
Okay, Aaron, any other questions? Seeing none, you have a seconded motion, all in favor? Opposed, if any, carried. Next is the illumination of municipal offices. Motion to receive the report. Councillor Brennan, seconder, Deputy Mayor McGuire. All in favor of receiving the report? Director Littlemore wishes to speak to the report.
Through the chair to members of council, this is just simply a report coming for council looking for a policy to be approved. On oversight on my part, there should have been a bylaw brought forward with this policy. And if council does approve the policy tonight, we'll bring a bylaw to the next meeting.
Okay, any questions? Councillor Derbyshire.
I just have a couple, I don't know if they're questions or statements, or maybe someone could clarify for me. I know our policy says that we are not to stand behind any kind of political statements when using the lights. I just want to make sure that we're not backing political or kind of political nation to nations things in doing some of the things we're doing here. You know, I understand, I can understand Canada Day, I can understand Remembrance Day. Green and red for the holidays is, you know, that's, if we're calling it the holidays, that probably gets you around some certain things there. You know, the shine the light for purple, it's not that, I'm not against these things, I just want to make sure that we are doing what's right within our statement. You know, I'm gonna sound, it's probably not the proper term to take, but, you know, with the September 3rd one, the orange for truth and reconciliation, I worry with that one there that we're maybe venturing into some political side of some of this. I know people are gonna say, no, you're wrong, but this is still a thing that's going on between one nation and the other nation, where one being Canada and one being the First Nations. And I know that this is to show support, but it is, the way I kind of see it, it is still a between, to me it's political. That's how I feel about it. I could be wrong.
Any other comment? Councillor Brennan.
Through the chair to the director, is National Truth and Reconciliation Day a recognized Canadian national holiday?
Through the chair to Councillor Brennan, it is a federally recognized statutory holiday, yes.
Okay, well, as such then, I would say that we're just acknowledging a federally acknowledged national event. So I don't know if that's political or not, but it's just basically accepting something and acknowledging, in the same way we would another one like Christmas. We're just lighting up the building to acknowledge that it's a federally day of observation.
Any other comments? I got one. I'm going to actually tell Councillor Derbyshire I lost sleep over this one because I had the same thoughts, and it's true. You could ask Julie. I lost sleep over this Tuesday night because I wondered about the political realities of a lot that we do, and the way I reconcile it in my mind is there are certain causes of things that are larger, and, you know, national holiday being set aside, but the way I reconciled in my mind was, yes, there may be some politics in it, there's politics in everything, but when you look at the greater good or the greater cause, for me, I was able to justify it in my mind. But I just thought Councillor Derbyshire would recognize I struggled with the same thing as we start venturing into different territories. Other comments? Okay, motion that council approve the update to the policy that includes an exemption for the illumination of the municipal offices in orange on September 30th, recognizing National Truth and Reconciliation Day. Motion to approve. Counselor Hippel, seconder, Counselor Pammer, all in favor? Opposed of any? Carried. Next is the hiring report, on the accounts payable procurement clerk. Motion to receive the report first. Counselor Brennan, second by Counselor Pelkman. CO McKibben, did you wish to speak to the report?
If I may, it was written by Director Payne.
Sorry, I apologize, Director Payne.
Thank you, Worship. Good evening, Council. Brief report before you, accounts payable, procurement clerk. This vacancy was created from a resignation, so we've since reposted that, and I'm happy to announce Dilson Gongalves from the Strathroy area is successful for the position. She has started her role January 29th of this year, so we welcome Adilson, and she's been a great addition to the team so far, so thank you.
Are there any questions, comments? Okay, motion, we had a second motion to receive the report. All in favor? Opposed of any? Carried. Next is City Hall front door opening. Motion to receive the report first. Councilor Pelkman, second by Councilor Brennan. All in favor of receiving the report? CO McKibben, did you wish to speak to the report?
Thank you, Your Worship. So before you tonight is just a follow-up to the discussion that happened at the previous council meeting. I'm just looking for some further direction from council. The motion at the February 5th meeting was to provide me with direction to have the front doors of City Hall opened. I'm just seeking some clarification, just as in regards to the path of travel that council is preferred. I want to ensure that we have safety for council, residents, and staff. So I have provided in my report some options for the path of travel, excuse me, and the associated costs, just to ensure that we bring up the space up to those requirements. So I do have, I think I put 3 options, or 4 options within the report, and I'm happy to answer any questions that that council have, and go from there.
Any questions? Councilor Brennan.
In all 3 of these options, is it also going to be that the side building door will also still be available as an accessible entrance to the downstairs area where they're paying? So will the side door still be open and available?
Through the chair to Councilor Brennan, yes.
Thank you.
The other.
You know, somebody didn't understand really what I was referring to in my motion, and I said, well, my intent would be for people to walk in the front door, down the hallway, access the elevators, and go down to the lower level, where they would be able to access customer service, unless customer service was moved up to what I would call the main level, which I believe is an operational decision of the CAO. So I thought we had clarity on that. I will say on option number 1, since it has been brought forward, you know, entering through the front and then going down the stairs at the front of the building. Certainly never my thought to do that. I don't believe that is the safer path to put people. And during our discussion, safety has been raised by many, and I respect that. We had one staff member that made comment about this on social media and raised the concern about the safety of the stairs. I would expect that'll go to joint health and safety and may come back to us in some form, may not. It may just end up at the CAO's desk, but certainly I would never want to put people into that staircase in an unsafe position if that was a safety concern raised. My motion, as I believe I stated it, essentially is option 2. I don't think that the costs are exorbitant. I will say I think it could be done cheaper. However, previous councils to me getting on here made the decision that we would use the key fobs, and you know, certainly they're better than using keys, and there may be other options available, but I do believe that this you know, the use of the key fob, which is, you know, there's an expense there. The tempered glass in 4 doors is perfectly reasonable. Closing in the 2 service counters by way of drywall, I don't have an issue with that. I would actually look at closing it in with plexiglass or Lexan, just so that we don't create these enclosed workspaces, which is really harassment in the workplace type stuff. But option 2 stays with the spirit of what we were discussing 2 weeks ago, which is the motion that we were talking about and passed. The signage and window film, I'm assuming the window film is interior window film on office doors. I see the CAO shaking her head, so thank you. So I don't have a problem with that. I think it's a capital improvement to our building here, the town hall building. And I find option 3 was never anything that I was speaking about in the motion, nor do I think it was any part of the discussion that we had the other week. So I would be motioning to accept option 2. I guess that's all I need to say to that.
You have a motion, do you have a seconder to your motion? Councillor Pammer, any questions? Councillor Wilsey?
In the budget, we already have a line item for, I believe it's around $50,000 for town hall improvements. This, I'm assuming this would come out of that amount, and we wouldn't need to add any additional funds from the budget, but I just wanted to confirm that.
Director Littleborn, did you want to answer that?
Through the chair to Councillor Wilsey, can you repeat that number? Like, is that a capital item or the operational budget?
I just remember reading I thought there was a number for town hall improvements that was around $50,000 in the budget somewhere. I can't remember where it was now.
So in the operations budget, we've got a maintenance line, and then we've got town hall improvements for $2,000 in the operations budget. In the capital budget, we have $12,000 identified for some washroom upgrades, and then $135,000 identified for AODA compliancy with regards to the lower level washroom for public use. So that's the only monies that I'm aware that are available for town hall improvements.
Any further questions? Seeing none, you have a second motion in front of us. Council direct the CEO to implement option number 2 and approve the required spending for the necessary alterations regarding the opening of City Hall front door. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. I'm very pleased to see that it said City Hall rather than Town Hall. Reports from boards and committees. There are 3 in front of you. Recommendation: the reports from boards and committees be received for information. Motion to receive, Councillor Pammer. Seconder, Councillor Wilsey. Are there any questions or comments on any of the reports? I had one, and I apologize, I did not read the Tri-Township Arena meeting minutes, and I haven't in a little while. Just a question for either Deputy Mayor or the 2 councillors around the Tri-Township Arena. At some point in time, would it be expected that there will be a report coming to council of possible capital improvements that need to be made? Deputy Mayor.
In answer to your question, Your Worship, yes, that has been requested, and we are told it is being drafted by the manager and should be to us at the next meeting, and then immediately brought forward to council.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? You have a second motion to receive the 3 reports. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Deputy Mayor, County Council highlights from our February 13th meeting.
I know we've been here for a while, but I'll just take a couple of minutes in light of some of the discussions we've had today. There's a document in front of you that outlines some of that which we have been talking about. You'll see the last item talks about community transportation grant program. We had a good discussion about where the county stands financially. And it was undertaken to answer 5 questions. Basically, where are we, how did we get here? what's changing, where are we going, and what's the plan? And our CAO, Bill Rayburn, led us through answering those 5 questions. The county, I would best say, has a financial position very much similar to Strathroy-Caradoc, very low debt, and has been operating that way for probably the last 20 or 25 years. I anticipate that will change, or at least the concept of change, where indebtedness will have to start being undertaken because of the number of infrastructure projects that are going to be faced by the county, roads and bridges primarily, are coming quickly, and our tax base simply can't handle that. So it has to be done through taking on debt and then and paying that off over time. I will also say there were some interesting numbers that came out. The actual growth of Middlesex County, 9.2% per annum growth in residential assessment in the county. I seen a number, Strathroy-Caradoc actually had 12% annual growth. That's phenomenal. I think annual growth generally is around 2 or 3%, and I'm going from memory about the slide program where that we've seen. So growth in our area is exponentially greater than it used to be, both in the county and in Strathroy-Caradoc, which is good, except what we are being shown is that residential taxation cannot keep up to infrastructure. And the big push that was being delivered to us in this preliminary talk to our budgets at the county is the need for industrial growth, that you have to have the industrial growth because the tax base and the percentage of tax paid at the industrial level is quickly 75% higher than residential. So there is a plan to expand industrial growth across the county. Strathroy-Caradoc will be part of that plan. And we'll see how all of that rolls out. The other item that was brought forth to us, all within the minutes of County Council, is the Middlesex County Loans Program. It actually appears on item 9CI of the agenda that day, which was just last Tuesday. And basically, this is a loans program for water, wastewater infrastructure improvements with loans at 0%. And these must support the county at large as opposed to just municipally at large. So lots of interesting stuff happening at county, and I'm sure some of that will have direct influence upon us here in Strathroy-Caradoc. Thank you.
Any questions? Councillor Wilsey.
With those updated growth projections, I'm just listening to those and thinking back to the ones that are in our settlement boundary where we're at 3% and 6%, and those are significantly higher. Was there any talk at county? Because I know the county people are sitting with our own staff when we're talking about the settlement boundary and how we're growing and how much land we need and where it needs to go. Was there any direction given to you as county councillors that would be coming through the county personnel to our planning department to possibly affect the settlement boundary that hasn't been finalized yet?
Deputy Mayor. I do not recall that. So I will tell you that, Councillor Wilsey, that was not part of it.
So I will say, I mean, not a conversation we have at County Council because it really belongs at this council about urban boundary changes. It does not go unnoticed to myself and probably the mayor, but he will speak for himself, that we do see a vast difference in the numbers being used on our urban boundary discussions here at this council compared to what we're seeing brought forward at the county level. And there may be good explanations for that, but we did not delve into that certainly during last Tuesday's discussion.
Okay. Just one final thing, Deputy, on the county, for everyone to be aware of. The budget considerations, deliberations at the county are quickly coming to a close, and that will affect our ratepayers, and I expect it to be not as high as last year, but probably higher than what we're looking at, and that will affect everybody's perception of taxation, so just to put that out there. Okay, thanks, Deputy Mayor. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Good job. Inquiries or comments by members? Councillor Hippel.
Thank you. Honestly, I only have one thing tonight. I just wanted to remind everyone, because it was on our agenda tonight, that the coldest night of the year walk that is being held by 37 Frank, it is coming up on Saturday, the 24th, from noon to 8, and I think that this is something that we as a municipality or community brought together. We get people from all over the place that come and walk for this and raise funds, raise money, and they have done outstanding work for our community, for the youth. And those youth are important. Those youth are going to be the ones that are sitting here someday. So I think if everyone can get out there and support and walk, bring your dogs, bring your babies, bring your, I don't know, bikes, bring your wagons, whatever you want to bring, but come out and do the walk and support, because it's really important. That's all for me.
And join the mayor's team if they wish. Thank you for that. Councillor Wilsey.
I've got two things. My first one is by gracious host of the Mount Bridges Legion, they've allowed me to schedule a time to sit and have an open house with them this Saturday. So from 1 to 3 o'clock, I'll be at the Mount Bridges Legion if anyone wants to come and talk to me and have any questions. The second point is a question I've had from a constituent, and they wanted to know when the Caradoc housing audit that was based on financial and project management will be initiated, and do we know how long it will expect to take to complete it?
Because we did talk about this and had discussion today with the CAO, and I've thought about that too, Councillor Wilsey. I think it's something that the audit was generated by the board of Caradoc Housing. We unanimously supported that. It was Councillor Kennis, and it did come here. And in thinking about this, I think there are two sides. So we'll talk about the side of the audit, but to me there are two parts to it. That the financial side, but then is what I call the process side, the business side, because as Councillor Pammer and I know, we've changed the bylaws, but there's some things within the bylaws that we could have done better. So what I'd like to do is make a motion that we work with the county barrister, Wayne Mahar, who knows the bylaws, and to come back with a report strictly on the procedural. I know that Director Dakin and CAO McKibben may speak to the audit of the financial side, but I think on the process side, we have made some changes, but I think it's important moving forward that we understand what happened and what we have done to ensure that it doesn't happen again. So I did talk this morning, because I have been mulling this over for some time. I did speak to the county barrister, and it's something that he'd be willing to tackle for us, because we would have to re-educate him, for lack of a better word. He knows the bylaws, he knows our process. So I talked about it, and that's a motion I would like to make if I get anybody to second it. Deputy Mayor McGuire, any questions? Councillor Wilsey.
Just for the second part of the question, not talking about financial yet,
Right.
Do we know how long the audit will take to complete to hear back on?
You talking about, that's too bad. This is a good,
Or, so sorry, the
business part.
The business part, just for the business part. And we'll handle them separately.
I will commit for him to 60 days. It shouldn't take him that long to do it. Okay, and then, so that's my recommendation, because it does clear off a lot of questions regarding the process, and we have done a number of things to tighten it up. So that's my motion, that we allow that to happen. Councillor Brennan.
Is there a cost attached to this motion?
Yes, there would be.
Do we know what that amount is?
No, I do not.
I would suggest we wait for, to find out what the cost is before we vote on a motion.
Councillor Derbyshire.
Sorry, through you,
No,
I think we already agreed to do an audit, and we already put that forward. It came down to they wanted to get their business, whatever, set up. So I think it's already been approved to actually do this. We just didn't cost it.
And a comment, I think, when we get there. Sorry, Councilor. I
Well-
believe Director Dakin has a cost, but go ahead.
Oh, if he has the cost, that's fine.
No,
Just
he has an amount set aside, I believe.
Oh, okay, just that we deferred something earlier today because we didn't know what it cost in
Fair.
finance, so I was just trying to follow the same procedure as we did earlier.
Yep.
But
Fair comment.
we voted a whole fire hall in without knowing how it's getting paid. So,
Well, that's
just so we're clear.
Yep, yep. Yep, through the chair, get it? Go ahead, Councilor Brown.
I'll respond to that. Okay, that's an arguable point. Some people on council would say we do know how we're paying for it, some would say they
Yeah.
don't. I was just trying to follow the same procedure we followed earlier today with another uncosted item.
Okay, that's fair enough. Did you want to speak to the audit part of it? Because there is some comments regarding that, correct? The financial audit.
So if I may, through the chair. So yes, council made a resolution at a previous council meeting for both a financial audit and sort of a business review. So as part of the Caradoc Housing is required to do an annual financial audit as Director Dakin reported earlier during the Finance Committee meeting. So just seeking council's clarification, that is scheduled to happen. Would council still like a second audit complete? Or is that audit that is going to be undertaken sufficient for council's wishes?
Councilor Derbyshire, then we'll go to,
I guess my question would be is what are we gonna get out of that audit? Are we just getting how they've been operating from here to there? I think what we wanted to see was the portion that we were a part of voting in. For lack of a better way of putting it, like I don't need to see their old books and how that was going. Like I'd like to see how the contract went, how we got to, how this cost us this much money, like that kind of, I think that's the audit we're looking for. Maybe that's the one they're going to give, but I don't need an operational budget at this point of where they're at.
If I may, through the chair, so it does sound like, from what I'm hearing, that is slightly different than what a regular financial audit would provide. If you're looking for more of, like, it's a combination of both, right? Like you're looking at numbers, which is the traditional audit, and then you're looking at the business review. So I'm just sort of seeking some clarification then. You're looking for more than just the financial numbers that typically come out as part of an audit.
go ahead, Bo, you go ahead.
Sorry, I would say yes. I think what happened was we allowed it to move forward onto being Caradoc Housing Corporation under the understanding that we were going to get clarification as to how it got to be the building it is. And nobody wanted to slow down the process because it needed to get going and it needed to get people in it. But that doesn't mean we don't want to see where we spent our money when it was our money.
Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to accomplish with this, is there's two pieces to it, right? The how, the verbal, and then the financial part too, so. Go ahead.
So if I may, Director Dakin, can you speak to the scope of what the audit would, the financial audit would entail?
Through the chair to Councilor Derbyshire. So I would say the financial audit of Caradoc Housing would speak to the operation side. If you're looking for an audit, a financial audit of the actual, we'll call it building program, I don't know if I'm using the right terminology, but basically, how did we get from a concept to the actual building standing there and all the costs incurred in that? We have already cost consultant reports that show here's the budget, here's where it was spent, here's where it came from, all of that. Those are already in existence and could be made available by Caradoc Housing. If we require something further, such as a line-by-line accounting, I guess, would be the best way to put it, of how did that all roll out, then that's a separate issue. So there's two things. The Caradoc Housing itself is going to have to go through an audit, which will include monies coming in, which includes the capital project, which is that building, and then where did they come from, how was it spent? That's gonna be looked at, but there is that cost accounting report as well.
Councillor Wilsey.
I think what we're trying to get to, and just to make it simple, it's not an audit that we're looking for, I don't think, for the building. What we're looking for is we want to know how much the building cost, what changes were made from the initial design, because we had an initial contract that had a fixed price. There's been upgrades that went through all the way. We kind of want it, like, the way I would do it is the way I do this all the time for clients when we have a project, and I've quoted a piece of machinery and it's getting installed at $5 million. But partway through, oh, we want to add this feature, we want to add this feature, oh, we're not ready, so our technicians have to have overtime, so the install went up by whatever. Like, that is, I think, what council is trying to get to. It's just, I think I'm one of the few people on council who deals with that on a regular basis. It's more just a project update that showed all the change orders that went through, all the increased costs, and just a list of that. I don't think we want to go through a full audit. We just want to know how much it was going to cost, what changed to get us to our final cost, and where it ended up. That's what I think we want, but I could be corrected.
Councillor Pammer.
Well, if that's what you want, then that's already available, because every time something, so we had the original costs and what was included, and then every time something changed, like you said, then we had to, a form came out and we had to sign off on it. So all that is documented, and I don't know if it's all in one place. I know I would get the change orders as they came in, but there should be some place where that could all be compiled very easily into a single document that we could share. If that's what you're looking for, then we don't really need an audit.
No, any other comments, questions? Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. I know you and I have chatted about this a couple of times. I think there's a couple of things going on here, and I'm not sure if I stand to be corrected on what I say, but I've done a bit of thinking about this, a little bit of research on this. So a council undertook a project to build the apartment building in Mount Bridges. And it was done, at some point in time, turned over to Caradoc Housing Corp., which is its own independent corporation run by a board of directors. Generally, my understanding of items like that is that board of directors is then responsible for everything in regards to that building. They have to balance their budget, they have to have their own insurance, they have to have a budget, and essentially what Strathroy-Caradoc becomes is the only shareholder in the company. There's only one share and we hold it. On anything else similar that I've ever been involved with, it would then be at their annual general meeting that they would be reporting to their shareholder about the state of their business. And if they're going into debt and can't balance their budget, then at that point in time, the shareholders would have some decisions to make as to bailing them out, not bailing them out, putting in a new board of directors. Lots of different things could occur, and we hear about that in the news every once in a while when Rogers, for instance, kicks out their entire board of directors and puts a new one in. So I think there's two things. If I understood what the mayor is asking for, it's some insight as to how the project developed from council over to an independent board of directors, an independent corporation. How did that occur? Because it seems to have come out of the gate a little awkwardly. And then this is where we're hearing from Councillor Pammer, who is the chair of that corporation, saying as the chair of a corporation, we are doing A, B, and C. So she's reporting back to her shareholders essentially when we're asking questions. We don't run that corporation. They make their own decisions. We're just the shareholder of it. And should it And remember, it's not just that one building, it's 2500 Queen Street also. So I think we really need to get our minds around exactly what this corporation is and how it functions and how that relationship pairs over to this council and this municipality. Because I think there's a lot of confusion there. When I listen to conversations, I'm getting different, I don't think everybody's figuring it out. And I certainly haven't figured it out. So to your motion, Your Worship, I think we need to start with a solicitor, because that's the only person really qualified to answer the question as to how did this come out of the gate and get to this stage and tell us this working relationship for certain, because I am certainly not educated enough to say more than any of my past experiences. So although I know there will be a cost involved, I don't think there's any way around that cost, and that information must come to this council.
And I'll defer to you in a minute, Councillor Derbyshire, but that's it essentially. The main question I've heard is, how did we get there? How did we get to a building with all kinds of questions? And there's questions in the community that I think need to be answered, but that's it strictly. This isn't financial, this is process. How did the Board of Caradoc Housing, how did they get to where they were? That's simply all I would like to do, is because we said we would do so, and I think, I don't want to speak for Councillor Kennis, he's not here. I'm going to suggest, I believe that's what he was thinking, was how did we get to where we are today and it's separate. So go ahead, Councillor Derbyshire.
My point here is, at some point, there was no board. We were the board. We sat as council making decisions. You weren't the president, you weren't sitting on it, there was no board. At that point is when we said, we want to see how we got here. How did we get to this point? How did we get locked into a $9 million build? How did it go? Where did it come from? Why are we signing this loan? I understand and I can appreciate you are now the board. We let it move forward. But I guess what I feel like now is we should have stopped it then and said, no, we want to know what's going on right now. But we let it proceed. Now it's going to come back to bite us, because it's the Caradoc Housing Corporation board and we're not allowed to see anything, and you're a board. I just want to go back to the point of,
That's what we're trying to do.
how did we get there? But the point should be, as a council, we were making decisions at that point. So I don't know how we aren't entitled to information that we made decisions on without that information being told, we'll get it, we'll get it, we'll get it.
Yeah.
And it never came. The project's moved forward. Now we're in a point where we're going to ask a lawyer. A lawyer's going to say, well, really, they're not entitled to any of this.
No, that's not, that's not, no, he's not a lawyer, he's the barrister. No, that's
Okay,
not it at
well,
all.
pick a name, you
Yeah.
know.
Not the intent, Councillor Derbyshire. What we're trying to do, all honesty, is lift the veil, show it to everybody how we got there.
But how hard is that to do? Lift the veil and find out where we are.
Well, that's it. Just need somebody to rate the report.
Easy.
It's easy. Just need somebody to rate the report. Okay, Councillor Palmer, and then we'll take a vote.
Well, and I was just going to say that this council does have a right to it, even though it is a
Yes.
separate corporation, because you are the shareholder. So as a shareholder, we, as in Caradoc Housing, does have to report back to the shareholder. So, a budget and, financial, sort of an annual financial report and a budget and the audit and all that would be shared. And if council wants the cost accounting documentation, we can share that too as a shareholder. I don't think there would be any problem in sharing that. So
And
happy to do that. If
Just
that's
one
what
final
council
comment.
wishes.
My request as a member of the board is as mayor of the municipality, because as the deputy mayor, and I've learned sometimes you have to wear different hats. So I'm wearing my mayor's hat to go bring us a report. So that's what I'm doing as Councillor Derbyshire, asking for this, is not as a board member, but as the mayor of the municipality. I would like to see that report, what happened, how did we get there? So that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, so we have the motion.
Just for clarity, can you repeat the motion?
Oh, a motion that we contract, appoint the county barrister to bring forward a report on, within 60 days, on the process within Caradoc Housing that created Caradoc Place. Yeah.
Because you're not gonna see any numbers, they're just gonna write a report of how. When.
Okay. All in favor? Opposed, if any? So we've got to do this again, Nick, because I saw some different hands. Okay. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Okay, thank you. I just needed, yes, Councillor Pelican.
I just want to clarify, I'm only opposing because of the time frame.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. Then you got one other, are you done here?
I just wanted to ask about the second part I asked about.
Yes.
With the listing of the initial cost plus the change orders, do we want a motion for that? Because if we can.
Motion to request it.
I'll make a motion to
Yeah,
request
yes.
a full costing of the building with the initial building plus all change orders, including any bank penalties or anything else like that that might have came. I don't know if there was anything like that, but any other financial penalties that came with payments or delays or anything like that included there.
Okay, you have a motion. Were you making a motion? Do you make a motion?
Yeah, that's my motion. I just need a second.
Seconder. Deputy Mayor, one question. We're looking right at Director Dakin. Would that information come out as part of an audit? That wouldn't come out as part of an audit? No.
No, not unless you scoped it that way. So,
Okay.
to be honest, Caradoc Housing Corporation's already in custodian of a document of the
Okay.
cost accounting of that whole building. So
Okay.
that document could be released at the will.
Okay, fair enough. Councillor Pammer?
Just a question to the clerk. Do I have to recuse myself from this?
No.
Okay, thank
You're
you.
appointed to the board by council.
Okay, thank you.
Any other? All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Councillor Brennan?
Just look at Steve.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were done with that.
I was gonna say, there was a question by the CAO, looking for direction earlier. So I will make a motion that any other requests in regards to this of the CAO be deferred until your motion information is returned to this group. Pardon me? Well, the CAO had asked, at one point in time, the CAO had asked for clarification about did we want different reports. So I just want to make it clear, I don't think that question has ever been answered. So unless she's satisfied that it has been answered, I didn't feel it was, so I just wanted to pull that off the table.
So I think what he's
For total
referring to
clarity.
is you had the business report and the
We
financial.
had all these other reports that were initially being requested, and we spoke
Right.
about a whole bunch of
Okay,
things.
one
but we
meeting
never
here,
answered.
folks, see if we get through this. Yep.
I don't understand this.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Deputy Mayor, so we had the original motion that was passed by council, asking for, the business audit and the financial audit. Based on the discussion and the direction that I've heard tonight and the motions that have been made, I feel that those are meeting that original, motion.
Then you don't need my motion. You're satisfied.
I am, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
All right, got that one. Did you have something, Councillor Pelican? I apologize. Sorry. Councillor Brennan?
Well, I don't want to seem like I'm opposed to getting questions answered, but what I've discerned so far is we had already said we were going to have an audit.
Right.
And I've heard the president or the chairman of the corporation say that all the relevant documents to answer our questions are available. With that said, I don't understand why we need to have a barrister look into it. That's all. If all the information's already available.
That's fine. I think we already voted on that one. I can answer your question.
That's just, yep.
Yep. So, Councillor Hill.
I just wanted to say the same thing. That's the only reason I voted no was because I thought we already had it because Councillor Pammer had said that they already had all the information, so I didn't understand, so that's the only reason.
Yep. Inquiry or comment, Councillor?
Well, I guess my inquiry is that if we're already having the audit and all the documents are available to answer our questions, I'm still trying to figure out the efficacy of having a barrister put it all together for us. That was my only issue. I just don't understand why we're doing it.
Fair enough. Councillor Pelkman?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Councillor Derbyshire?
Thank you. I do have one inquiry into, and I have received numerous phone calls on our recent times on the news. It's not that I'm opposed to us being on the news, it's just kind of nice to know when we're on the news and what we're on the news about. There's a few things in some of the articles, you know, like the fire hall being paid for by donations and that our Tri-Township Arena is unrepairable. There's just some statements made that, you know, I wondered if we should not be making sure that all our media announcements and stuff goes through our communications department. I don't know whether that's a motion we need to put now or
Well, I'll agree with you,
that's-
Councillor Derbyshire.
no.
I will agree with you because of any, for lack of a better word, I don't know if ambush is the right word to use with the media, haven't come from that, but they show up at the front door, so I have had conversations with communication with Brianna to in the future, because they do move things around, so point well taken, already thought about that. Can't control what they say, but it can, after the fact, we can certainly do that. Yeah, Councillor
Thank you.
Derbyshire.
I did have one more. It was on the Melbourne Agricultural Society. I just wondered if we had a resolve or had moved forward with them, or whether I do need to bring a motion to move them into a one-time annual payment and get them out of that group.
Through the chair to Councillor Derbyshire, their treasurer has been on holidays and we haven't been able to connect, so Paul has reached out to her again today, knowing that she's back from holidays. So just waiting to get that information, and then we would bring it to CDAC and we would proceed in the normal fashion, unless of course council can choose what council chooses to do.
Okay, yeah. Councillor Pammer?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up something that's been, I've been taking a lot of inquiries about lately, and that's the new advertising fence at the corner of Front and Caradoc. And I know this involves private property, so we probably can't do that much about it. I just wanted to go on the record to say that we're aware of it, and the complaints I'm getting, people aren't impressed by it and don't think it's a good addition to the downtown core. And I would agree, particularly when we've got a huge sort of project, hopefully in front of us to elevate, you know, the whole streetscape. I'm not sure how that's going to fit in with the plan. I don't know whether Director Huff has any comments on anything that may have been done or we can do about
Director Huff.
such situation.
Thank you to council on this particular situation. So, of course, if we had a sign bylaw in place previously before it was put up, that may have assisted us in this case. However, we don't currently. That's on our list of bylaws to bring forward at some point in time when staff are able to get enough time to work on those things. In the meantime, we are processing a building permit application for it. That will take its due course, and of course, implementing, if we were to bring forward a bylaw, of course, it can't be enforced retroactively. So there's that. So through the normal course of evaluating the building permit, it may get resolved. And if not, there's nothing in our zoning bylaw or building bylaw that would preclude its being approved at this point. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to thank all the citizens that have reached out in regards to the quote-unquote beautification projects going on, or kind of in their initial stages down in Mount Bridges and in Strathroy. A great many lengthy emails have been received and lots of comments, and most of those comments are all leaning in one direction. So thank you for all of that. Keep them coming in. Certainly, I know all of us are very interested in receiving those. Those will be discussions around the horseshoe at another time. Thank you.
Just to comment, hopefully that someone sitting in my house did take my comments about the media manipulating things to heart. I can still get in the door tonight, but that's it. Our next scheduled meeting is Wednesday, February 21st, tomorrow at 3 p.m. for Finance Committee. Now we move into closed session for the purpose of discussing the following. One item in accordance with the council's procedure bylaw to approve in-camera meeting minutes. One item pursuant to section 239 of the Municipal Act as amended regarding the proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. Motion, council move into closed session at 7:06 p.m. Councilor Brennan, second by Councilor Wilsey. All in favor? Carried. Welcome back. Closed session adjourned at 7:23 and open session is resuming. Council met and discussed one item in accordance. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we did that. Resolution, closed session adjourned at 7:25 and open session resumed. I want to bring Councilor Palmer, second by Councilor Hippel. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Council met in closed session to discuss one item in accordance with council's procedure bylaw, one item pursuant to section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended regarding a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. Motion that the direction in closed session be approved. Councilor Wilsey, second by Councilor Brennan. All in favor? Carried. Consideration of bylaws.
Thank you, Chair. Just one bylaw for council's consideration this evening. That would be our confirming bylaw, so bylaw number 1724, to confirm the proceedings of this evening's proceedings of council. The recommendation this evening is that bylaw 1724 receive first, second, and third, and final reading.
Motion that bylaw 1724 receive first, second, and third, and final reading. So we bring Councilor Wilsey, second by Councilor Pelkman. All in favor? Carried. Motion to adjourn at 7:26. Councilor Brennan, second by Deputy Mayor McGuire. All in favor? Carried.